Hello everyone, welcome to United Chokros. This is your friend AB and joining with me is DV and Prashant. We all are excited. The entire Manchester United fan base is excited. There is only one reason. Last week, signing of Sancho and couple of days back, signing of Rafael Varane. Two signings back to back, two major signings. Let the excitement begin. DV, how are you feeling? And Prashant, how do you feel about the new signing?
Brilliant,
Uh,
absolute brilliant. I'm sorry, Prashant, to cut you off.
yeah,
Absolute brilliant. The signing Jadon Sancho, top young talent. One of the top creators and goal scorers in Bundesliga. If you combine his goals and assists, the numbers are pretty amazing. And it's not just one season; he's doing it consistently for the past 3 seasons. So the contribution to the side is brilliant. He's a top talent. He's just 21 years of age, and at this age, he's achieved so much. So yes, we're bringing in a top forward. Who can play on the right, who can play on the left, who can even play on the center. As a number 10. So can play in different positions and bring that creativity which we were lacking. Fernandez was the only one who used to create, but now he's got support of Jadon Sancho and yes, of course, Rafael Varane. We all have been speaking about him since the last September. We signed centre back was something which was our priority this season. We wanted that to happen last season, but we couldn't manage it. But yes, and we all thought that maybe we won't sign Varane, it will be Torres or Kunde, because that's what we always do. We end up signing second or third choice players. But kudos to our recruitment team. They've got Oli, the man he wanted, top choice centre back, world class player, won everything that a professional player has to win. La Liga titles, multiple Champions League. He's also won a World Cup. So a true winner we've bought in form of Rafael Varane, and I only hope things are going to get better next season. Over to you, Prashant.
yeah. So, as DV just pointed out, so our team was lacking something in each of the three departments: midfield, attack, and defense. So, attack and defense has been done. They have been sorted, and they have been comprehensively sorted, I would say, because we have a young and exciting, a proper United signing in Jadon Sancho up front, and for the backline. Rafael Varane is apparently exactly the kind of partner that Harry Maguire would need, because we've seen how good he becomes as well when he gets a good partner, like with England when he was with John Stones. So something we all have got for the next season to look forward, and the signings are happening at a good time. They're happening quickly, which is a really good sign, and yeah, all just all let's just hope that we start the season all guns blazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ravi, I wanted to ask you this. You've always been speaking about the choice of centre back, and you were always firm. You wanted Varane. That was, I gave you a choice at times of with Koulibaly and or Varane, and you were always positive on Varane. That's the signing that you wanted, and very in the last 7 8 years, I don't remember a signing that Man United have made. Who's like a first choice proper centre back. This is the transfer market. Let's keep aside Jadon Sancho for a minute. Let's talk about Rafael Varane. What kind of feeling or vibes are you getting from this signing, maybe?
Well, I was pretty confident, DV, that we could have a upper hand to sign Varane. It's completely different feeling right now that he's actually a part of Man United now. This was since the last year, DV. If you could remember that we always spoke on the videos that we want Varane to come. We want it very badly, and just imagine this season we have him. So the feeling is quite. I'm really very happy, and I told you that time as well. I am happy with Sancho coming in, but I'm delighted with Varane being in our squad because we had a reasonable, decent attacking team, but we lacked defense. And with the entrance of Varane, I think so the defense has become much more stronger. I think so. My favorite player Lindelof could be on bench right now. I can see him much on the bench, and I can see Varane starting with Maguire.
Absolutely, and I can already imagine the partnership between Maguire and Varane, flourishing throughout the entire season. They both will complement each other. Maguire is good in the air, he's good with the ball. Varane's other attributes are good. He's good well with clearances. He's good with his pace. A centre back, you know, ideal centre back which we needed, someone with that kind of pace, so that we could play a high line and not, have two defensive midfielders sitting back and protecting our back four. Now that brings me to a very important point, Prashant. Uh, what dimension does Rafael Varane add to this United squad? Does he actually change the style of play that we approach, or we still need a out and out defensive midfielder?
I would still say that just for us to have a complete squad, a central defensive midfielder is needed. We cannot depend on Fred or McTominay, either of them. Even if they are playing alone, it's not really something I would 100% be confident about. But at the same time, as you may have noticed that all of the outlets, not just one or two, but almost all of the outlets who are showing the expected lineup of United for the next season, they have all switch their formation to 4-3-3 because they all understand that now that Varane is in there, the max threat combination is not going to be required anymore, and therefore that frees up a player that may, if Pogba stays, then it will free him up to do things that he can do. He can
Yeah,
actually play on his left central midfield and play the role that he prefers if he stays, of course. Uh, Same thing with the others as well. And you know what? Players like Fred, for example, if he is given the holding role, maybe he can actually be a little more advanced as well. Something he has done very well. Something he's still doing very well for Brazil. So he adds that dimension. And Varane is one player that, for the first time, I mean, there's a saying which goes that all's well that ends well, and there are many sayings. There's another one which we in India often use, whatever happens, it happens for only for a good reason. So that's something which I can relate to Varan, because I remember back 10 years ago, right before Sir Alex
2011.
Ferguson was about to leave, he was about to sign Varan, and God forbid, had he actually signed Varan back then, I think what would have happened to him would have been similar to what happened to Zaha. So I'm glad that that did not go that way. And now he's coming to United as a proven winner. And he has always had an interest to play for United. So he's here. He wants to be here. We want him to be here. And the fans will be there in the stadium as well. So it will be crackers in the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, a top player, like I said, a player who's won everything that a professional footballer has to win, even a World Cup, including the four Champions League titles, the Club World Cups, and the La Ligas. We call it everything is won. That's why it's coming to England to try a different challenge. And what excites me more is it's not money that attracts him, but he wants to play in for a top Premier League side and win the Premier League trophy. So moving on for Varane, we spoke about Varane for like 7 to 8 minutes, and if we have time, we can speak for hours and hours. The kind of player that we've got in our side. Now, moving on to our next important topic, I want to talk about. Prashant briefly spoke about the midfielder. We do need a center defensive midfielder if we have to complete a squad. Now, we've been linked to a multiple midfielders. We all know, Declan Rice is the midfielder that Man United want. He's on the top priority, but we can't afford him. 90 million pounds is a too huge amount, and I don't think Rice is worth that money. He's good. I like Declan Rice, player that completes our squad, but 90 million is too much. Then we've got Saul Niguez, who again is Barcelona's priority, and he himself wants to go to Barcelona. If that deal fails, then he will speak to English clubs, and we're not the only club that are interested in him. It's Liverpool and Chelsea as well. On the other hand, we have Leon Goretzka, who's just toying with us, in order to get a better contract at Bayern Munich. And last but not the least, we have Eduardo Camavinga, who is weighing up his options. He's not in any kind of hurry because he's got multiple options in front of him. He can even stay at Rennes for another year and go to another club for a free player. And the dark horse in all this is Ruben Neves, which a lot of fans would welcome, signing a player who can play as a box-to-box midfielder as well as a defensive midfielder. So if I ask you guys, how important is this midfielder signing, and if you had to have an option, who would you pick out of all these midfielders? So AB, starting with you.
Well, Divi, it's quite important because we have seen it in the past as well. As we correctly said, we always kept on playing with back-thread combination, which we don't want to happen this season. That was a biggest mistake we could see the last season. What happened, which in a way held us to attack more. We kept on having a more of a defensive team than an attacking team. Now with the likes of Sancho, with he has come in. I think so. The game has to be much more attacking and much more pacey, and we cannot have more of a defensive team right now. So what I can think is right now we need a central defensive midfielder, and for me it has to be Ruben Neves. So as of now, the last update that I heard is it's not a valid information though, but it's come that United are in advanced talk with Ruben Neves. But again, it's not from a valid source. It's just come up in last 15-20 minutes. So these rumors are going to happen till the last day of the transfer window.
Yeah,
As you
I
said
agree
very
with that.
correctly, Declan Rice is for 80 million and above, which is not what I feel is required. It's too expensive. Maybe if Lingard goes for 30 million and in return we get him for 50 million, that would be a good swap if that happens. But that doesn't look that clear. So if that does not happen for me, I'm quite happy with Ruben Neves. And the best part about Ruben Neves is Bruno Fernandes has recommended Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to sign him because he's a Portuguese player and he wants to be linked to United so that they could have a good combination when they play together.
Yeah, I mean, Neves is a brilliant player, underrated a lot. I would welcome Neves as a Manchester United player, even though he's not my priority. I would prefer Declan Rice, but yes, I would be equally happy if we end up signing Ruben Neves. A really good player. Prashant, quickly your thoughts on the midfielder links and your preference on overall these players.
Okay, yeah, so I'll just run through them a little bit faster than AB did. So first and foremost, let me just say that Saul Niguez is probably the most difficult to get out of all of these because he has a contract, if I'm not wrong, until
9 years,
2026.
which yeah,
Yeah,
26. He signed a
yeah,
9 years
exactly.
contract
So
in 2017.
so that's gonna be hard to get. Even if we do end up paying for him, we'll be paying a huge sum. Eduardo Camavinga, if he does come, well and good, fantastic. But I'm not having high hopes from him simply because I've heard that, and it is a general thing with a lot of Frenchmen as well that they prefer a move to Spain because it would probably be a similar league in terms of the pace to League A. So he prefers a move to the Spanish La Liga. Fine. So we come to Ruben Neves. Declan Rice is, as I say, as AB pointed out, he is a little overpriced. Maybe in exchange of Lingard, well and good. Otherwise, I'm not going to be after him for 80 or 100 million bucks. Uh, Final answer for me as well. Preference would be Ruben Neves. Tried and tested in the Premier League. Not only is he a good defensive midfielder, he is known to score some worldies from long range. He does it. Bruno as well does it. So that would be a good combination to have. And he knows the English game in and out. It's not that he has just come into the Premier League and done well here. He before that he was there with Wolves even when they were in the championship, and he was scoring streamers there as well. So that is one player I would want.
Yeah, true, absolutely true, Prashant. And you make very valid points. Ruben Neves, most important thing what he said is tried and tested. He's already played in the Premier League. He knows how the Premier League works. And the only scare I have about Ruben Neves is he doesn't end up being another Morgan Schneiderlin. Morgan Schneiderlin was very promising when we signed from Southampton. He had a brilliant season, but I don't feel that it's just a small scare. I don't feel Ruben Neves falls in the category because Ruben Neves is a brilliant player and has been doing it for the last 3 years. So if we end up signing him again, like I said, I would welcome him to Old Trafford, a brilliant player, and we could end up getting him for 30-35 million only because his asking price is not like Declan Rice, like 50, 60 million or 80 million, or even like Saul Niguez. So yes, Ruben Neves looks to be a sensible option. If we had an option, we would either go for Declan Rice or someone like Wilfred NDD. But logical and sensible option seems to be Ruben Neves. Now, quickly, guys, your thoughts on Kieran Trippier because today he's been highly linked to us. It seems that his family has already moved to Manchester and he expects the move to be completed by the end of the transfer window. Your thoughts, AB, on Kieran Trippier? Do you think he's a replacement for Van Bissaka or do you think he will be a backup to give Van Bissaka improve his game like how we did for Luke Shaw when we got Alex Telles? What do you think about this signing if we end up making it?
But I think so. He's a backup plan, DV. I don't think so as of now because if you see the last season, Van Bissaka was simply superb. I don't see any reason for replacing Bissaka in this case. Yes, it's come in the report as well today, that he's not good with the forward run, but that's just a part of the game. His main thing is to take care of the defense in the right back. If you see the Euros, Kieran Trippier was simply superb for England. So yes, that becomes one major reason for interest in Kieran Trippier. But if I stick to your question, DV, I think so. He's just going to be a replacement for Van Bissaka. For me, I see Van Bissaka as a right back for Man United, as he was for the last season as well.
Yes, and I think Trippier will end up improving Van Bissaka's game. So yes, we need a Trippier because and the advantage Trippier has, he can play on either side of the wing as a wing back. He can play as a left wing back, which he did for England in this Euros, and he's a natural right wing back. So yes, can play multiple positions. It will be an advantage situation for us, and we can end up sending Brandon Williams on a loan. Prashant, quickly on your thoughts on the Kieran Trippier signing, if we end up making it.
Yeah, so Kieran Trippier will bring in the required experience. Obviously, he has just won the league, so that's a good point.
Hmm.
Apart from that, I would not be able to add anything further to what AB has already said. I think he is likely to be a backup, but the thing is that having a slightly different player like Trippier will also provide a good option for in terms of rotation. I mean, if we are to challenge on all of the fronts, then it would be good for us to have a player like Trippier to rotate Van Bissaka with. So, yeah, I think he's a good option to have, and he won't exactly be a backup. I think it'll be more of a, as I said, it'll be a bit of a rotation. Unlike what's happening with Tellis and Shaw, I think it will be a little bit more of a rotation depending on the opposition we are facing. Maybe if it's someone more where it's a game where we'll be a little more defensive, I think Trippier will come in. Although Van Bissaka is good while defending, but I think Trippier is considered to be a
Experience,
little bit more defensive and experienced.
experience,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah,
exactly.
absolutely. I mean, I think Perez was also bought for the same reason, but the rise of Luke Shaw was, you couldn't ignore that. The way he played last season was undroppable. In the big games, you need Luke Shaw, and
Yeah,
kudos
I
to
mean,
Ole
imagine.
Gunnar Solskjaer for, yeah,
Yeah, so sorry to cut you off there, but imagine the great part about Luke Shaw is, and I feel it's just so good to watch him play because you know how Jose treated him. You know, he almost tried to destroy the hell out of his career. He didn't, he didn't give up. He came back. He did even score a goal in the Euro finals. So yeah, it's a great improvement. It's awesome to watch.
absolutely. And again, another player we can go on and talk about him. He's been so brilliant for us our season, and we expect so much for him in the next season. Now, moving on to a final question, and this is actually a big one. Now we're signing Sancho, signing Varane, I'm linked to top midfielders, signing a backup right back. Always been given the tools and ammunition required to go all out. Do you guys think that with all the backup that he's getting, with all the signing that he's getting, first choice signings, does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer need to win the Premier League title? Is the pressure on him right now? If he doesn't start well, will he be given opportunity to, you know, jump back, or will he be sacked in December? Basically, I want to know from you guys: is this a make or break season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? AB, for you first.
It has to be a make more than make. It has to be a win-win situation for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because he's, as you said very correctly, he's been given all the ammunition. You name the player that he wanted, he's got it in the squad right now, and there has to be no excuse that Solskjaer needs to give this season at least, that I did not get the proper kind of players to play in this position, or etc. etc. For me, it's been enough that as a Man United fan, we kept on waiting to win the Premier League. We tried, we ended up number second or number third. It's enough of that. I want to see United win the Premier League. I'm very clear about my thought. Not even once I will think about being on number second, or I'll be complacent. I'll be saying, okay, fine, we are number second, we are qualified for the Champions League. Sorry, that answer is no longer valid for me, at least for this season after these brilliant signings. So I want to see our team being the Premier League holders right now in this season, and also giving a very tough competition to win the Champions League as well.
Yeah, I mean, you make really good points, AB, because spending so much, you've got to bring home the title. Prashant, your thoughts on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's next season after getting backed up in the transfer window?
Okay, yeah. So first and foremost, my first, and I mean, I'm just really hoping that what happened to Jose doesn't happen to Ole. Like, he was offered a contract and then immediately he was sacked halfway through the next season. So I hope it doesn't go that bad. Second thing is that although we have the signings, I do still think that, I mean, statistically at least, that we have some way to catch up with Man City, not with Liverpool. I think we are definitely the second best team in the league. I think second, we'll we'll only have a challenge with Chelsea. I think they will be the only ones who can challenge us. I don't think Liverpool or any other side would come close. So it's either second or first spot for us. But the top three is there for sure. So I would say that in terms of an improvement, at least if we win a trophy, not like a Carling Cup, but maybe if we go further in the Champions League, let's say if we go reach the semis of the Champions League, and if we have won the League Cup or FA Cup, and then finished second in the league, then it's acceptable. So it has to be that we have progressed well in the main two competitions, which is the Premier League and the Champions League. Winning it is going to be a different thing, but when we see their performance, that is what is going to be judged. So if they play brilliantly and maybe, like they bow out in the semifinals, maybe like similar to what Ajax did, through some bad luck, or maybe when the opposition is literally, that they are much better, then it's a different thing. But otherwise, I think, yeah, I don't think the Premier League is a priority, but a trophy is. So he has to deliver a trophy for United this season. That would be a pressure which he will be dealing with, and he will be aware of as well.
Yeah, I mean, a huge pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to win a trophy next season, and even if he ends up finishing second, the point gap cannot be more than 5 points. If it's more than 5 points, then it's basically a failure. Yes, we are
Yeah, exactly.
quite behind with City in terms of number of players that we have at the backup. So would say we are behind Chelsea in that term because Chelsea have a really really good bench strength and they would add more players in this window. But yes, after making so many signings and after spending so much, I think Ole needs to win at least one trophy and title, Premier League title should be the target. But even if we fail to achieve that, if we end up coming second, the point gap should not be more than 5 points. That's my perspective. Anything less than that, I think Ole needs to go because maybe this is not the right job for him and. Their progress is there and he steadied the ship, but it's time to move on to the next level with all these signings. Guys, thank you very much. With this, we come to the end of the video. Before I close, guys, anything either one of you want to add up?
No, not from my end.
Maybe.
And I think, DJ, I'm just waiting for the season to start. Just saw a warm welcome from Bruno Fernandes in the yesterday's game when he was just walking down the tunnel. And just imagine it's a pre-season game, but the fans are still excited. So just imagine when the league would actually start, it will be simply superb to watch this time. So waiting for August 14th for the Premier League to kick off.
Absolutely, bro. And everyone's waiting. And Old Trafford, Leeds United, a big game. So let's hope we start the season with a bang and we complete the rest of the signings. Thank you guys once again for watching the show. Thank you both of you gentlemen for coming and expressing your opinions. Do subscribe to our channel, guys. Bottom right hand corner, and make sure to turn on the bell icon on the right hand side of the screen to get the latest notification. Do smash like on the video, guys. We'll see you next week with another content. If we get any more transfer updates, I'll be there with both these guys, to express our opinion. This channel is only about opinion, no agendas, only opinion. Thank you guys. Good night. Stay safe. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye bye.
Uh,